Welcome back, everyone. This is my second video about our travels in Japan. I'm covering our second and third full days in Tokyo.
Please wait behind the yellow white lines.
Here we are in the train station. These yellow tactile surfaces are all over Japanese cities, including on the streets. Vision-impaired individuals are able to feel them with their sticks to navigate. Japan is heavily invested in accessibility, due in part to the country's aging population. The safety doors are a good touch, too. Really, every train station should have those. In most places in Japan, people walk on the left side. That's the standard. It's been that way since samurai times. But in a few places in the subway, I've seen these signs instructing to keep to the right. I don't know why they're here. Some people heed the sign, but most just keep walking on the left as they do. It's a bit chaotic, especially when these signs are right at the bottom of the staircase that goes to the street. There's just a mob of people going in all different directions, sometimes blocking the stairs. I did not expect something as simple as walking directions to be this complicated in what is otherwise a very orderly country. Anyway, we saw this cool, very big street art. We were meeting for the second day of the bus tour at the same meeting place as in the first day. We decided to stop for McDonald's as we had skipped it previously. I love that it's just open to the street. I don't even have to go inside a building. It's very convenient. Most of the menu is different, so we got basically everything they showed on the monitors. Look, Japanese marketing just hits different. The indoor dining area is above the street-facing storefront. Got a nice view of the neighborhood. The mango smoothie is alright. Nothing remarkable. This is their tsukimi pie. I guess you're supposed to eat it while looking at the moon, but, you know, time restraints. It's another red bean-based food, and I will say, this one is actually sweet. I don't know if that means it's loaded with corn syrup, but you know what? I don't care. It does its job. And the inclusion of mochi really balances out the flavor. It doesn't feel like I'm eating sugary beans straight from the can. These are my favorite, the macarons. Whoever curated these has excellent taste. They included raspberry, which is my favorite fruit. Most people would have chosen something super basic, like strawberry. And these are the shrimp nuggets. They're crispy and quite flavorful. I was quite impressed with McDonald's in Japan. The menu items creatively adapt aspects of the Japanese diet, and it feels less greasy than the American restaurants. I feel better eating here, even if it's still junk. We stopped at 7-Eleven again, mostly to waste time. I took a good look at the yuzu chili-flavored tofu bar, but then I was like, nah. We got the same bus as last time. That's cool. This second day of touring actually took us out of Tokyo Prefecture entirely. We got to see Mount Fuji and various other non-urbanized attractions. This was our one significant respite from the cities in the trip, and it was about a 2-hour drive. Here's our itinerary, if anyone wants to read ahead. Oh no, spoilers! I didn't even read half of this until making the video. I just go where they tell me.
So now, we are heading to Mount Fuji. Here is the area, what is called Mount Takao. So as we can see, there's a beautiful nature, plenty of beautiful natures, but still in Tokyo areas.
At this point, we're still in Tokyo Prefecture. It extends a fair bit into the countryside. It's not just the city. That is a nice looking bridge.
Mototsuko Lake is famous for Mount Fuji drawn on 1,000 yen bill. It's famous for moss pink, blooming from the middle of April to May. Mount Fuji extends over 2 prefectures, Yamanashi Prefecture and Shizuoka Prefecture.
We passed Fuji-Q Highlands Park. That's the roller coaster. We saw this guy taking pictures of his motorcycle. This is the 5th station, which is the closest point to the top of Mount Fuji that's relatively easy to get to by public transportation. The itinerary mentions something about a higher station, where the tour group is able to go during the off-season. I'm assuming that's the 8th station, which is limited to 150 visitors at a time, so I imagine that it's difficult to get a reservation. We got these vouchers to pick up a gift at the gift shop. A nice lucky charm. No! Open! As silly as it sounds, that's probably the most efficient way to communicate the message, "Do not open," to a wide range of tourists from different countries. There are plenty of people who know just a little bit of English vocabulary, but don't necessarily recognize the syntax of an English sentence. So, "no open" and "do not open" may as well be the same thing. So, here's the view of the actual mountain from this distance. And there's the parking lot and some other smaller mountains. Just look at that size comparison. It's kind of wild just how huge Mount Fuji is in comparison to every other mountain in the area. From here, it's difficult to see the iconic volcanic dome shape of Mount Fuji. It kinda just looks like any other large mountain. Maybe the shape would be easier to see if there were snow. Most of the pictures that you've seen were taken either from helicopters or from farther away on ground level, using telescoping lenses. Fortunately, we did get an exceptionally clear view of the mountain. There were no clouds in the way. According to our tour guide, it's only this clear about 20% of the time. I would have liked to actually hike up to the top of the mountain, but of course, that would have taken most of the day, and I'd missed the rest of the tour. Here's a cool-looking volcanic rock, a landmark of some sort, or perhaps a giant ancient dime. We heard that there's a shrine in this general area, so we walked around to find it. Sorry, you're going to hear a lot of that bell. There's a gate. I don't know if that's the main one. Here's a big clearing of loose volcanic rocks. They have an interesting texture to walk on. Very crinkly. Right. Yeah, they're very porous, you know?
You take them?
Yeah. There's the gift shop and the hand washing station. And there's the gate we were looking for. Visitors were putting coins in this hollowed out tree, as an offering. Here's a needle for stacking 5 yen coins. That's clever.
We don't have any holes. You can just do tens.
Yeah.
I took a photo.
Someone put a drink box in there. The box says Oni Koroshi, which is a kind of dry sake. I thought it were litter at first, but I guess it's a part of the shrine? You can't exactly fit a whole sake barrel inside a tree. The volcanic dome is slightly more visible from the parking lot, of all places. Here are some more lucky charms we bought at the gift shop. Got your capybara friends, a dog, some colored fishies, and of course my volcanic rocks. I got a wooden charm, complete with more bells. You can never have too many bells. Overall, Mount Fuji was somewhat underwhelming. We kinda just showed up, took some pictures, and left. Our next stop was a so-called ninja village. These are a common attraction across Japan. There's a restaurant and a Japanese garden, and various ninja-themed outdoor games, and the employés remain in character as shinobi. We had lunch to start with. Everyone got a personal hot pot with eggplant and cabbage and such. Very nice. There was a very large buffet to choose from. Here are just a few items I got. Salad, scrambled eggs, bread, calamari, shrimp, takoyaki, and pasta salad. They really did not cheap out on the selection. There was tea as well. They had some cool ninja weapons and art on display as well in the dining room. This is the garden. That tree in the clearing is a sakura tree. It was not in bloom at the time. Fish. They're just chilling. Glub glub. Glub glub glub. Hello. Glub glub. That's a cool looking building. This looks like a target range. Perhaps they do performances here. Yeah, this is the ninja village.
Andiamo di là, vieni. The sign shows the plant Rhododendron mucronatum, which has white flowers. I can see just a few of them scattered throughout the garden. I think that the more plentiful yellow flowers are also a variety of rhododendron. These are Jizo statues, which are said to protect the spirits of deceased children. Wow, we met a real shinobi, Nin. There's a ropes course for the kids. I hear water moving somewhere. Where is it? I got to try shuriken throwing for the first time. Well, I've done it with paper ones before, but these are real.
I love it.
Nice.
Now.
Use all body. Full power.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Game start. Let's go. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice, nice. Whoa, so close. Last one.
That was the worst one.
One more chance.
Thank you.
And okay. Let's go. Nice throw. Yeah, nice try.
Thank you.
Prize for you.
That was nice. She gave me an extra try, and I won an umaibo, which is a puffy, corn-based snack bar. I always thought that the mascot on the label were a Doraemon character, but no, it's an unrelated cat character. The character has been nicknamed Umaemon, so I suppose that's a common association that others have made between the characters. The last activity that we had time for is the Ninja's Trick Room. It's like a very short and simple escape room. We weren't allowed to take pictures inside. I guess they don't want the solutions getting out. It was very cool, actually. There are about 4 or 5 small Japanese-style rooms with unadorned wooden walls. They actually looked like a sauna of all things. In each room, we'd have to find a hidden door to get to the next room. In most cases, that was as simple as running my hands across the wall until I found a piece of paneling that felt slightly loose or springy. Then I pushed down on it to unlock the mechanism, and it would come off the wall just enough for me to grab it and swing it open. One of the doors was hidden in the side of a wooden bathtub, so we had to get into the tub and crawl down through the opening. What was really cool about the trick house is that the doors were loaded with an automatic spring mechanism to close them behind me. When I pulled on the door to fully open it, that would put tension in a spring, and after I went through and released the door, the spring would recompress itself with enough force to click the hidden door back into place. One of the doors was apparently left open by mistake. I suppose the spring mechanism failed, and the previous guest didn't care to close it manually. So we just walked right through that room. It took like 2 minutes in total. There is a small museum at the end of the trick house where we were allowed to take pictures. One of the hidden doors looked somewhat similar to this one. Oh, hello. Here's a little pudding doggy pin that we got in a capsule vending machine. That was an enjoyable time overall. It was charming. I saw some clearings cut into the trees on a nearby mountain. I wonder if they ever use that for skiing. We passed a surprisingly large military vehicle on the road. They even had guys sitting up top, where the gun is. Though our tour guide insisted that we call it the Defense Force, not the military. Alright. These are rice fields, I think. Our next stop was Hakone Ropeway, which is a cable car station. An entire section of the building is just covered in Evangelion product placement. That anime really is a phenomenon in Japan. Well, it gives the station a unique character. Part of this sign was mirrored in its printing. How does that even happen? That is very NG. That's better. They gave us fans. I never really thought about it, but the fluid dynamics of a hand fan are actually quite fascinating. I flap it up and down, but most of the air is propelled forward, perpendicular to the direction of the fan's movement. Wow, they have a pirate ship. Not something you'd expect to see on a lake in the mountains of Honshu.
Here we are, getting on the cable car. It's kind of like a ski lift. It's not often that I get this high above the trees during the autumn, when there's no snow. It's a nice view, though the brightness makes it difficult to get on camera. Sorry if I don't look at the camera. I really should have had my sunglasses. I don't even know where I put them.
What is the name of this mountain?
It's Hakone Mountain. Yeah, Hakone.
Buenos días. Guarda eso.
Ahoy, neighbors.
Oh, and right side, backward, this is the Mount Fuji's. And head of Mount Fuji is coming out.
This cable car goes up to Mount Owakudani, which is an active volcano. There are hot springs in this area, as there are in several areas of Japan. Owakudani is uniquely well known for its sulfur vents that release trails of hot steam at a nearly constant rate. They're visible from all the way up here. There's sulfur dissolved in the steam, and it has a very strong smell. I can smell it already, about 100 meters above the ground. It's impressive how it builds up enough pressure to erupt out of the ground like that. It's just steam. It's easy to forget that Japan is the second most volcanically active country. This is the Mount Owakudani Visitors Center. Their whole branding is based on the black egg, and they are really rocking it. Everything is black. The people in this area take regular chicken eggs and boil them in the sulfurous water from these volcanic vents. The sulfur affects some kind of chemical change that makes the eggshells turn black. Inside the center, there's a small museum room that currently has just one display, a big chunk of elemental sulfur. As a chemistry nerd, I love that. I went into the gift shop to get some black eggs, see what it's all about. I thought I was ordering 2 eggs, but they gave me 2 bags, each containing 5 eggs. So yeah, we were eating eggs for a while. I tried getting closer to the edge to get a good video of the steam, but the wind up here is just crazy strong when there's no building nearby to disrupt it. I had to be careful not to drop my phone. There's some sort of scaffolding down there. I've heard that there are sulfur mines in the Hakone area. Maybe this is one that's no longer actively used. Oh, I bought these 2. Black egg manju. I didn't really like them. The fruit part is alright. It's made with mango, but the pastry part of it is weird. It's not even like a cake or a dough that's been leavened. It's just very densely packed, dry wheat flour that crumples apart when I eat it, and it has very little flavor. These are the actual eggs. They're black, but with a thin layer of white residue. It almost looks like chalk dust. Just freaking smash it. That's one way to crack an egg one-handed. Flashing lights warning, I guess. Darn these trees. I can even see part of my fingerprint in the white residue. On the inside, it looks and tastes like a normal egg. I still smell the strong sulfur smell, which I associate with rotten eggs, so that's an experience. The smell and the taste clash, but it's not unpleasant.
It's a good egg. I mean, as far as eggs go, it would be difficult to ruin something so simple. They came with salt packets, so let's try that. According to the local superstition, eating one of these eggs adds 7 years to one's life. Excluding microstates, Japan is the country with the longest lifespan, so maybe they're onto something. Yeah, I prefer my eggs without salt. The bus picked us up at the visitor center near Mount Owakudani, and it drove us back to the same station where we got on the cable car. We got to walk down the Ava corridor. Release her! Next on the list, another boat tour! That's 2 days in a row. That's quite a bold strategy for the travel agency that made our itinerary, but in my case, it paid off. I like boats. I'm glad that my group got the golden ship. Red is a cool color too, but how often do you see a golden ship? It's a bit crowded on top. I'll try to gradually make my way around the perimeter. I really need to find my sunglasses. I'm having a good time, I swear. Alright, it's less crowded on the lower level, and more importantly, less bright. That was a nice tour. Thank you, Queen Ashi Noko. They have swan boats too over here. The next stop is Hakone Shrine, one of the more popular Shinto shrines in the greater Tokyo area. There's a display of ginger ale bottles, which I found amusing. Ginger ale is my favorite carbonated drink. It seems to be a pun on the Japanese word jinja, which means shrine. More fish. Here are some more Jizo statues. I see that at least 2 of them have knitted hats. There's a tradition of shrine patrons offering hats to the Jizo, especially during the colder months, as it is said to ward off sickness and evil spirits. I've seen this tradition referenced in a few Japanese media, most recently Super Mario Odyssey.
Water is not the actual water, it's for like a washing machine.
Oh.
Those trees are some thick boys.
Hakone Shrine is known for its large staircase. There are 89 steps. Here are more of those fortune-telling papers that we've seen at the previous shrine, omikuji as they're called. Whoa, how did this lion get turned to stone? As they say in China,
时时是之是时时时时时时时时。
Here is a very beautiful 9-headed dragon fountain. There's a whole legend associated with the fountain that I won't get into, but it's said that drinking the water will give one luck in romance. Thank you. And that's the end of the tour for today. It was an enjoyable time. I'm glad that we got a full day away from the city to take in more of the nature in a more open space, and to see some of the more quaint attractions that wouldn't really fit the vibe of a major city. The bus brought us back to one of the stations in Tokyo.
Please hold hands with small children when getting off the train. Please watch your step when you get off the train.
Thank you. New York perfect cheese. It had better be. I speak for New York, and I have a very high standard for cheese. Yeah, very much.
This reminds me of grandson.
Yep. I love Japanese signs that are like this. Just a deluge of English words, lacking in structure, but overflowing with emotion. Go upstairs, open the door, ladies and gentlemen clothes, reality or fantasy? Beautiful dress, custom suits. Traditional but innovative. Beautiful. That's so much more resonant than just a boring old sales pitch. It was late at this point, and we wanted to eat something simple, so we walked into the first Italian restaurant we saw. She had a small pizza, and I had pasta with squid ink, a Japanese staple. The texture is interesting. I always thought of squid ink as being a very watery and lubricative liquid, but this is actually quite gloopy. I think it's mixed in with a plant-based oil that's slowly separating out. I was expecting Mario Kart ink, but this is clearly Splatoon ink. The taste is very unique. The main flavor is salty, but it has an underlying component of umami that I really can't describe. I like it. We got back to our hotel in Minato. The next morning, we took a train to a different ward of Tokyo called Sumida. We went here to visit a specific shop that's located in a mostly residential neighborhood. Wow, he is really enjoying that tea. The shop where we were going didn't serve food. Not for humans, anyway. so we got to Sumida early and stopped at the local supermarket to pick up some breakfast. And also, just to look around, shopping in another country is always a learning experience. Our tour guide said that, in general, fruits in Japan are quite expensive because there's limited land to grow them, and people are willing to pay extra for specialty fruits as a gift to their employer. But, I don't know. These prices seem reasonable. These muscat grapes are the most expensive fruit I saw. They're supposedly among Japan's most prided agricultural products. 300 yen for 100 grams. That's like $9 per pound. Not terrible. I think I'm just beaten into the ground by the cost of food in New York. I'll pay anything. These little fishes freak me out. Like, why are they looking at me? Is this food or fish bait? This is Calpis soda. They made a digestive aid into a soda. Alright? We got some sushi and sat down in a local park to eat. I got a Mont Blanc as well. It was good. Sumida is actually the same ward where we had been just the previous day to see the sky tree. I wasn't aware of that at the time. It's high enough that one can see it from much farther than this. Kitty! Hello! I only saw a few pets on this whole trip. I expected to see a lot more, considering that Japan supposedly has more pets than children. This neighborhood was just a little bit rough around the edges. Not terribly so. It's probably the least looked after place where we went in the whole trip, but I think they're improving it. There's one touristy attraction that I'll get to shortly. Hopefully, that attracts more capital to the neighborhood. We had to walk through a construction zone to get where we were going, which I did not expect. The workers let us through easily. It seems like they deal with this on a daily basis. Hi, arigato. Here it is, the place we came here for, the Capybara Cafe. Of all of the themed cafes in Japan, we knew that we had to go to one of these at some point during the trip. Because where else can you sit down with a giant freaking rodent and pet them and feed them? I mean, other than South America. We got here shortly after opening, though there were several people in front of us. Everyone has to pay for both a drink and a food for the capybaras, either carrots or brown pellets. We had to just sit and vibe for a while and occasionally pet the cappies, because they only bring out the cappy food every few minutes. I only heard it briefly, but this one made a cute chirping sound when he was enjoying a belly rub.
Someone give him a belly scratch.
I like it when he flicks his ears. What's he communicating? Hey, what are you sniffing?
Just getting up.
Oh.
No, coconut doggy, come back. Animals are usually attracted to me, but these ones are really not impressed. They move on their own schedule.
Let's put our phones away for a minute. Well,
Yeah.
when you're done.
They are just so chill. Of course, that's the first thing everyone says about capybaras, but it's easy to underestimate just how agreeable they are. You can just go up and start petting one, while most other undomesticated animals would shift away. They truly have no enemies.
Hi, Mr. Coconut Doggy.
Hello.
What are you thinking about? Do you like this? Is that yes? You spoke with the ears.
Yeah.
I like your hands. Daniel, look. You take the carrot.
Oh my god, its mouth is so cute.
He's nervous.
I didn't notice it at the time, but they do have slightly different hair colors. I believe this is the darker one, named Pisuke. The lighter one is Kohaku. He started doing this upward head nod, usually right after we speak to him. He only started after we got the carrots, so maybe that's the signal for more food. We caught this one mid-sneeze. Poor baby. Those are some finely manicured nails. He's always showing them off. They kinda look like electrical tape. They like their cozy blankets.
Stop talking to him in a minute.
Yeah, hands are cute. The teeth are cute. Show me your teeth.
I want to give him a manicure.
What does that mean?
I'll let you guys try to get in there. They really are just carrot fiends.
Yeah. As chill as they are, they waste absolutely no time when they see a carrot. That is their #1 priority. Maybe they're just hungry because it's early in the day. Not long after this trip, the cafe was closed for a day because one of the cappies got diarrhea. Oh no, they should eat slower. But what attracts a cappy more than anything is the sound of pellets being poured. Look at him! He's just going absolute beast mode on those pellets. He won't stop.
Give me a head nod for Ryan Weaver. Hell yeah.
We bought a couple funny knickknacks. A stuffed toy capybara, a picture of both of them together, and these hard candies. That's a pretty intricate design for such a small candy. I assume they're rolled by hand. And they are very hard. Like, ow, actually. once we're out of the city center of Tokyo, we have to actually start paying attention to where we're going to stop. They don't have the big computer screens showing the next several stops. We're either using Google Maps or listening to the loudspeaker. We got off the train somewhere. I don't recall exactly. My sister was leading the way. We saw a big blue and yellow building and we thought, screw it, we're eating at IKEA now. Ah, the blowhigh are escaping. Here's the menu. They have their Halloween items a full month early. I mean, what else is there to celebrate in September? Might as well. Here's a nice big dining area. The raspberry juice is just, bellissimo. Even more uncommon than raspberry-flavored snacks are such flavored drinks. But Japan just really gets fruit right. I also tried their elderflower drink, and yeah, it tastes like a flower, like the ones I chewed on during recess in primary school. So, good job. Some may say that it's a waste to eat at IKEA rather than an authentic Japanese restaurant. We have IKEA at home. I would counter that to say this. It's good to go to chain restaurants in moderation while traveling abroad, because it makes me more conscious of my preconceptions and biases around food. I have an idea in my mind of what Swedish food is, or what Italian food is like, but those aren't 100% authentic. I've only ever been exposed to the American version of each. Now, having tried the Japanese interpretation, I can find which aspects are different, and which qualities of the food are common. They're maintained, despite cultural and geographic barriers. For example, the smoked salmon was very similar, though they seem to use less dill in Japan. Here, I had this vegetarian curry, which I've never seen at IKEA in the US. It was very good. Every region has its own version of every archetype of food that's available therein. There's even a Japanese version of American food, with McDonald's. So, there are nearly unlimited combination of food styles to try if you travel enough, which is pretty cool. Even take the pasta from the previous day. Spaghetti al nero di seppia is an original Italian recipe, but in a country with so many types of pasta, it's easily overlooked. Japan is the country that made squid ink pasta more visible in the public consciousness, perhaps just for the novelty of it. I've heard they even started putting ink in ice cream. I probably wouldn't have ever tried this if I hadn't come to Japan. Cool. So that was IKEA. It's still quite early in the day at this point, but our next stop was quite involved. It will probably take up most of my next video, so I'll just awkwardly cut it off here. Thank you, and I hope you see the next part.